So let's get started. I'll start with a mantra. So everyone, please close your eyes. Bring your hands to your Anahat chakra. Om Gam Ganapate Namaha. Om Ganapate Namaha. Om Gam Ganapate Namaha. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Kar तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः
Shanti, Shanti.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Tat Sat. All right, so thanks a lot for agreeing to do this interview with us on your new book. For everyone who has joined, thanks a lot for joining. I think most of you will be aware of it, but if you don't, Goel just published a new book. It's called Saral Jyotish. And my understanding is that it is the first book in a series of books that will come out. Um, so we are here today to talk a little bit about that book, understand, what that book is all about, from the perspective of us seekers, what real message, or how do we use that book given all the different books that we have, other than that. So sorry about that, my my daughter just came in. We would like to spend some time understanding the book, understanding what the message is there in the book, and learn directly from Goel ji as to how should we use this book in our swadhyaya. Um, as we will talk about it, based on the feedback, we are very open to talk about things that you guys want to hear. So please keep the dialogue open. My request would be that you please put your questions in the chat box rather than unmuting and disturbing the flow of the discussion. As long as you can put those questions in the chat box, I promise that I will keep an eye on the chat box and keep relaying your questions. We are also live on YouTube. If you're on the YouTube, I would request the same thing. Please put your questions in the chat box. Again, I promise to keep an eye on the chat box and bring your questions over here. So with that, let's get started. So Goelji, again, thanks a lot for doing this. Obviously the topic de jour is your new book. So I would request you to talk a little bit about this new book that you have just published. I understand it is now available, on sale through multiple platforms, including Amazon and Sagar Publications. My first question to you is that, in terms of the book, what is it that this book is all about? What is the central message of this book? Obviously, it is called Saral Jyotish, so a simple assumption is that it is simplifying the Jyotish's concepts for all of us. But why did you feel that you needed to write this book? And you have obviously written a lot of other books already. So just tell us a little bit about what is the message and why did you feel the need to write this book?
Yeah. Saurabhi, thank you very much. But it is not something very new. It is all available. I have just made it simple. You know, I'll take a little longer that I have been practicing astrology for a very, very long time. I may even say that I was interested in occult maybe without knowing from my childhood. Then, as God gave me opportunities, I came in contact with so many good astrologers, read so many books. I have a collection of more than 300 books with me. And when I was teaching, so when I was teaching, I used to face lot of questions from the students, very relevant. And most of the questions related to the basics of the astrology. By basic, I do not mean the basic course that Sun is the Lord of Leo and Moon is the Lord of Cancer. There are 12 Rashis and 12 houses. No. These basics are the conflicting things in astrology, where we all get confused. So let me explain.
Right.
You see, Saurabhji, I am taking little long.
Sure, no, no, please, please. This is all
Yeah,
yours. We want to hear
yeah.
from you. We want to hear.
But in any science, in any wisdom you pursue, there are some general rules which is applicable everywhere in the performance of that science. The basic rules, the general rules in astrology, like I said just now, there are 12 rashis and 12 signs and all these things, and these are the lords, and here it gets exalted, here it gets debilitated. Okay. But there are always some special rules. So, most of the time, when we apply these special rules, it seems that they are in contradiction to the general rules.
Yes.
And there the problem comes in any science. So, why this special rule has been made?
Hmm.
And how do we link it with the general rules?
Yes.
So that was the biggest problem. And to deliver this message, I had to really struggle a lot with the students.
Hmm.
So after my more than 20, about 20 years of teaching, then I thought, let me put it in writing.
Yes.
That what is the general rule and how this special rule does not vitiate or nullify the general rule,
Hmm.
but it is a special application
Absolutely.
of that rule. All Shastra, all our past writers, our saints, they have never given anything direct to you. They have left it to be analyzed in your own way. How you do it? See, people ask, How do I predict? There is no way. There is no direct way. You have to create your own system for prediction, and that comes from your understanding of the classics. So that was the starting. I was planning it for a long time because
Right.
this is my 20th book.
Yes.
I have already written 19 books
Exactly.
on Dasha, on Vargas.
Yes.
In Vargas, still so many are remaining.
Mm-hmm.
But I stopped Vargas and I said, let me write a series
Mm-hmm.
on these common general topics which have a special twist.
Yes. Yes.
So,
That's
this is
very,
the
yeah. That's very insightful.
background.
Yeah. That's very insightful,
Yeah.
Goelji. I think most of us here are students of Jyotish who are on this call or watching on YouTube, and I think all of us will relate to it. Will understand what the message there is,
Yes.
because I think we all have struggled with that, right? You read one chapter of Parashar, and it says a benefic, and I would just relate to what you talked about in the Jyotish Mela on the Kendrapati yogas, right? You read one
Yes.
chapter, it says something about benefics. You read another shloka in another chapter, and it says, oh, by the way, if a benefic is, owning a Kendra, it loses its
Uh,
beneficence, right? And you're like, what's there, right? And you so eloquently in your lecture during the Jyotish Mela, talked about it and you clarified so many things. I think this book is, if I'm understanding correctly, I unfortunately couldn't read the book because the book is
it is
out
not
of circulation
available.
right now already. This is how
Already.
things go, right? So yeah, yeah. So but yeah, I mean,
No.
I just think that that's so relevant. So in that context, Goelji, is it one of the questions that I had also was that obviously you are tackling the issues or the contradictions in different chapters or in different shastras. Is it right to assume that this book is for at least for the intermediate level of students and not somebody who's a complete beginner who doesn't even have at least some doubts in their mind? They have to first read some other books of yours or somewhere else, have those doubts in mind, and then come here to clarify those
No.
doubts.
Everybody who has even started learning astrology and after some study of astrology, they start getting confused.
Hmm. Yes,
So, this book is meant for them, all of them.
sure.
See, Lord Krishna has said that for any knowledge or for seeking me, there are four types of people. One is Arthatri, means who wants material things from me. God give me house, give me money, give me these things, these things. Next is Arthatri, who likes to get out of the pain or some problem. That I am in trouble, Lord save me. Then the third is Jigyasu, who wants to know, who wants to learn. And the fourth stage is Jnani,
Hmm. Yep.
who knows. Who knows me? Who knows Lord Krishna? He is Jnani. So I will place this book in the category of Jigyasu.
Jignasa.
I am not Gyani, I am Jigyasu, curious.
Mhm.
I am curious to know this science. So, anybody who is curious about astrology can make use of this book.
Very nice.
See,
Very
in
nice.
Jyotish, you cannot take everything literally. There are some riders always.
Mhm.
No, so many times I forget the rider and take what suits me
Mhm.
or what suit to my horoscope for my benefit. That is the problem.
Right.
So I've tried to, like you were talking about, Kendra Adhipati Dosh. My opening sentence was whether it is a dosh or a
Or
yoga.
you. Yes.
See, whenever a Kendra Lord is related to a trine Lord, it becomes yoga.
Yes.
So why we should be afraid of Kendra Adhipati?
Mhm.
See, astrologers, without they to promote themselves, they forget the classics.
Yes.
Some people have gone to the extent that a benefic in the Kendra is a malefic.
Mhm.
Parashati has not written that.
Yes.
They say it acquires Kendra Adhipati dosh. See, it is Kendra Adhipati,
Mhm.
the Lord, not by placement.
Correct.
I have seen so many posts on Facebook, on astrology columns, big astrologers, they are getting awards, new researches that a planet sitting in a Kendra suffers from Kendra Adhipati dosh. That, please, sir, everybody will have some planets as the Lord of Kendra.
Mhm.
Many of us will have at least some planet in Kendra.
Mhm.
They are all doomed. Even Lord Krishna and Lord Rama, they have most of the planets in Kendra. Why are you forgetting that?
Mhm.
Their life was ruined totally. Yes, I will concede that the horoscopes, analysis of horoscopes, of divine things is beyond our scope. We just cannot analyze it as a human being. Leave apart, but still, they had so many Kendra occupied, or the Kendra lords. Everybody will have four Kendra lords, or at least three, or at least two.
Yep.
So all those horoscopes are spoiled.
Right. This is what happens when you read a book and you don't have
Yes,
the time. to kind of contemplate on it, or you just run with
Yes.
one. You read one sutra and you run with it, right? And
And you
you
start thinking about it. You
yep.
will die every day.
No, that's so eloquently said, Golji. So, in terms of just furthering this concept of um, resolving the conflicts or resolving the doubts which arise from reading one sutra and then another sutra, then another sutra. Is this book meant primarily for people who are, let's say, confined to the Parashari system of Jyotish, or to the Jaimini
No.
system, or you are looking at it in general across all the different systems?
Hmm. I always stick to Parashari, but take the help of Gemini also.
All right.
So it is, you can say, basically Parashari, but somewhere it is Gemini also. Those sutras also I take care. And that is how I am planning other topics also, other books also in this series.
Okay.
But normally, I don't know why, I am not making it clear that this I have taken from Gemini. But inwardly, I accept. While analyzing, I take the clue from Gemini astrology. And in that, I do not give great importance to the karakas.
I see. I
I
see.
don't see the karak, Gemini karak.
Right.
Like in my book, I think I have covered this karak planet in my book. If I am, let me check.
It is there.
I,
Yes, in the list of. It is there in the list of topics. Yes,
it
I
is
can see it.
there.
Yes.
So, some people have rang me up and asked me, everybody knows karak. They said, I have not read the book, but why it should be a different chapter?
Hmm.
I said, Parasharji has specifically mentioned that I now discuss a different type of Karak Greh, which is a Karak because of its placement.
Yep.
Right? Now we all know that there are sthir Karaks, the Karak of every house. First house, this is the Karak. Second house, Jupiter. Third house, Mars. Fourth house, Moon. Okay.
Yes.
Then we have fixed Karak for all relatives. Sun is for father. Mars is for younger brothers, sisters.
Yep.
Okay. Venus for wife. Jupiter for husband. These are fixed Karaks.
Right.
Then we have Char Karaks. That is by Gemini. Atma Karak, Amatya Karak, and all these things.
Ji.
Why Parasharji mentioned it?
Hmm.
A different type of Karaks. And Parasharji has mentioned that even if there is a one set of Karak planets, mutually Karak to each other, then This life is worth livable. Means
Yes.
the more correct planets, as per Parashar, better life it is. That I have covered. In
Hmm.
India, I have received at least five, six telephone calls
Hmm.
that what it is. I said, please, my dear sir, read it
Right.
and then tell me.
Hmm.
Then ask me, sir, you will find it in everybody's horoscope. I said, yes. All successful people, everybody who has done something in the life, they will have this yoke. I have a horoscope where three planets are exalted and his life was miserable.
Hmm.
Then I found the clue, it is Karak planet. So I am planning to write in Hindi what I call Safal Jeevan,
Interesting. Hmm.
whether my life is worth. My life was safal. I lived my life.
Hmm.
This you can take as one of the point. If it is available, you are living a worthy life.
And by this point, you mean the Karka planets?
Karka. See, there are Parashari has written this. I have five, six such points. Quick, immediate. Just you find out the potential of a horoscope. So this
Sure.
is why I have written it. People will not understand it so easily. But once I have talked about it, now they will see the first thing in analyzing your horoscope.
Got
First
it.
thing,
Uh,
see
Very
what is
interesting.
correct.
Very interesting. Well, you, for some reason, my voice is echoing. It looks like that in the room where you are sitting, my voice. Is there any way you could use your headset, which you used to use earlier?
My voice is echoing or
No, no, my voice is echoing every time I speak. I think in the room it is echoing where you are sitting. So it
I'm
comes.
hearing it clearly.
Yes, you are. I think we are getting a feedback. Most of us here are getting the feedback. It
So
looks like
my
my
voice
voice.
is echoing.
No, no, mine.
Okay.
When I speak, it echoes. So I don't know whether if you had the
So
headset, that might
you
help. But
can.
otherwise we'll go
No,
ahead.
no,
Yes.
no. I said I purchased this computer
You said
today
that. Yes.
and it has all built in.
Okay. Um. All right. So let's move on. The other thing that I wanted to ask you about is that um, it's not probably focused on this particular book, but in general, a lot of people have started using, as you said, people are experimenting. They are, what they're calling it is that research and all of that.
Hmm.
I wanted to ask you a couple of things in general, but also from the context of this book. Where do you stand on those things, and do you endorse it? So things like, people are trying to use outer planets, Neptune and Uranus, with combining it with Vedic astrology. I mean, they are not moving out of Vedic astrology. They are still
Yeah,
using the
yeah.
same concepts, but they are trying. And
Yes,
also
yes.
people are experimenting with the tropical zodiac, right? I know we don't endorse that as part of our Jyotish. We are solidly with the sidereal zodiac. But from the perspective of this book, if there are other people who are trying to use, let's say, tropical zodiac, and still using the Vedic astrology concepts, still using the Parashari concepts, still using the Gemini concepts, but placing the planets using the tropical zodiac. Do you
Listen,
endorse that? What is your
listen.
view on?
My objection, I am not against tropical because that is the true position of the planet. Sidereal position is not the true position on any day. It is subjected to correction, which is called Ayanamsha.
I am sure. Yes.
Okay. My thinking is that all, if you are using Vedic or Hindu astrology, so suppose Sun is exalted at 10 degrees in Aries. I start using tropical zodiac. So
Mhm.
every year, the exaltation of Sun will move by 50.8 seconds every year. Okay, from
Yep.
sidereal.
Yes.
So in 72 years, the exaltation point of Sun will become 11 degrees or 9 degrees. I can't do
Sure.
the
Yeah. Yeah.
math, but it will change by 1 degree. Will the result change as per Hindu or Vedic astrology?
hmm That's an excellent point.
All
Yeah.
position of the planet in a sign, what is referred as a fixed thing in Vedic astrology, will the promise or the result
hmm
of a planet will change every time? The result, suppose a planet is to give in Aries, will the same result will be given when it comes to Taurus?
hmm
The result will be different. Okay, this was the first point between sidereal and tropical. So you change your books every 72, every year. Change your books, change your predictions. Okay,
That's an excellent point.
that is what my feeling is.
hmm
Because you see, I accept everything first and then try to apply it and look where I am getting the problems. Second, the extra planets, Pluto, Neptune, Herschel, and many more. Many more will come. Okay, it's an
Yep.
ongoing process.
Yes.
I said, when we are on the earth, we have our center as sun,
Sure.
and we are part of it. Why we say that the planet nearest to us, that is moon, is the most important planet
hmm
for prediction for every horoscope. Our all classics say moon is your alternate lagna.
Yes.
You can take it as ascendant. Okay. Now you go further beyond Saturn. are they having the same effect
Hmm.
as these planets which we have chosen? They have they have effect. I'm not saying they do not have effect,
Yes.
but their effect may be minimal on our human hora astrology,
Hmm.
personal predictions. They
What
can
about
have
the
a effect.
what about the conjunctions, Goelji? When let's say, right now I think Saturn and Pluto are sort of conjunct, right? Will that enhance their
I'm coming.
effect?
I'm coming to that.
Okay.
That these planets they can have effect on the mundane astrology,
Ah,
the astrology of the world, not individual astrology.
I see.
Because you see, mundane events like countries being created,
Hmm.
that takes many 100 years or something. Long term events. So they are maybe, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. It's just an opinion. There we can use it.
Hmm.
Like in Corona, many people have written it is governed by Pluto.
Hmm. Yes. I've
They are
written.
linking it with Pluto.
Yeah.
So I will say it is not for individual but mundane things. We can
Interesting.
use that.
Nice. That's
But I
again.
am not that sharp. I don't use it.
Yes. In terms of the sidereal versus tropical, you very eloquently talked about the Ayanamsha. Which Ayanamsha do you use? Which you prefer? Is it
No,
Lahiri
no.
or?
See, it is not because of Lari. I use that. But it was adopted by the group of the scientists
Yes.
that committee formed, and they said this is the correct Ayanamsha.
Okay.
Lariji was the chairman or the secretary of that committee. So it came to know as Lari's Navamsha,
Yes.
Ayanamsha.
Ayanamsha. Yes.
Yeah. There
Very
are
nice.
other Ayanamshas also,
Yes.
and they have questioned Lahiri's Ayanamsha has a very small difference from the correct Ayanamsha by about 2 minutes and 8 seconds or something. This research is not very public.
Got
I
it.
have applied it. That is not a accepted Ayanamsha.
Ayanamsha.
Yes. So I make a correction of 2 minutes and 8 seconds. In Lahiri's Ayanamsha, you get a better result.
Oh, you do that. Okay. Interesting.
No,
Interesting.
I don't do it.
Oh, you do not do it. Okay. Okay.
But I know it can do,
I see.
can make a difference when the planet or the lagnas, etc., are within 2 minutes. I'm not doing
Okay.
it.
All right. So, well, you're furthering the same concept of different people using different things. During the Jyotish Mela, we had a very spirited discussion on the true notes versus the mean notes, and there is some discussion in the chat box. And we do all know that you use the mean notes, not the true notes, right?
No. I use true node.
Oh, you use true notes. Okay,
I'm
okay,
using true.
okay. You are using the true notes. Interesting. I forget
See,
that
if you
from
use
the Jyotish Mela
mean,
discussion then.
okay, if you use mean node, why only for Rahu and Ketu for nodes?
Hmm.
Use it for all planets. Every planet has a mean motion. Use everything. Why you do not use the mean motion for Saturn? It is apparent. It goes retrograde, it comes direct, it gets slow, it goes faster.
Yeah,
Same way, Rahu and Ketu also become direct in actual thing.
interesting. I
So
think
use everywhere
you
the
use
mean
true
motion.
notes. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if I remember from the discussion during the Jyotish Mela, a lot of people were commenting that uh, the nodes are not real planets; they are a mathematical calculation, really, right? While the grahas are obviously real celestial bodies. So that's why for a mathematical calculation using a mean uh, uh,
No.
observation.
Please. How these nodes are determined? It is not a mathematical calculation. It is a astronomical fact.
The nodes,
Rahu and Ketu are the intersection point of
yes,
the orbit of Sun and Moon. Right?
yep,
Rahu is the northern node and Ketu is the southern node.
yes,
Because ecliptic intersection,
yes.
it is a 2 points. One is south, one is north. And that is why they are opposite to each other.
Interesting.
This is
I
a
think
this is a true point, not a mean point. It is physical intersection.
mhm. So
No,
I
I
think this could be
say
a great
if you
topic
are
for your
using
next.
mean, if you are using mean position, use mean position for every planet.
Mhm.
And it is being used. In Tamil, they have Drik Pancham. In Banaras, they use mean position.
Mhm.
They do wonderful predictions. So, it is there.
Very nice. Very
Use
nice.
everything as mean or everything is true.
Okay, that's very nicely said, Valji. So just going
Yeah.
back a little bit to the book, there are some topics there which I would suggest being. I'll be a little bit selfish here and you know talk about a couple of topics that I found very interesting. So there is a mention of a double Khara planet, um, and the Kalhora and the Indu Lagna. I got interested in those and would be very
Okay.
again being very
I
selfish
will,
would
I will, I will explain it. Double khar, right? This word is invented by me.
okay.
Double khar. But the concept is our Parashari or classic astrology. See, Khar planet has been given as one is 22nd great Khan, from Lagna and 64th Navamsha from Moon. They are called Khar planets.
Hmm.
What I thought, can there be a position when the 22nd Dreshkan Khar planet and the 64th Navamsha Khar planet will be the same?
Okay.
So he becomes a double Khar.
Yes.
They are called
Yes.
Khar planet. So if one gives trouble, the other also gives trouble. When he become two troublemaker twice,
Yes.
it can give more problems.
Yes.
So that is the concept of double Khar planet.
Interesting. Yeah, we were taught to them as called Chhidra grahas. I don't know whether
Yeah,
that.
in Chitragraha, 22nd Rekhan and 64th Navamsha are called Khargra.
Okay. So when we were taught the Chhidra grahas, we were asked to think of them as something that can pierce, right, and something that is primarily used in the health considerations. Do you use
Health
your
and
Khara
death,
grahas?
etc.
Health and
Death and trouble and everything. So that I have demonstrated. In circumstances, same planet becomes Khar from both,
hmm
for both,
Yes.
22nd and 64th. So it should give ruin more.
Interesting.
Okay. Then next was what you asked.
Indu Lagna.
Hindu Lagna. Yeah,
Yes.
Hindu Lagna is a very common concept.
Yes. Do you use it primarily
Yeah,
for
it is.
prosperity or?
Yeah, yeah. It is everywhere. It is used. Hindu means moon.
Mhm.
Only thing what I have added in my writing that you can see Hindu Lagna from any house.
Ah,
What we see Hindu Lagna from Lagna taking Lagna or the ascendant as the Lagna and the moon sign as the moon Lagna. And then we calculate the Hindu Lagna. I only advanced it, extended it to take any house and given an example of fifth house for children. That you take fifth house from Lagna as the Lagna for children and fifth house from moon as the Lagna of children. These are now new two Lagnas for I have named it Santana Hindu. Now you calculate Hindu Lagna. You can do it for any house. Say professional Lagna. Take 10th house as the Lagna and 10th from moon as the Lagna from 10th Lagna from moon and calculate into Lagna.
hmm.
It gives wonderful results. So I have demonstrated only one house, that is fifth house. Now,
Interesting.
as we are talking, so you can make it for any house.
hmm Very interesting.
Hmm. This is not a new concept.
Right. Right.
I had written an article on this in 2004 or 5.
Interesting. Yeah. But I think
I just remembered it and repeated it.
yeah, I think what is probably new is that you are expanding it to other. The way we learned it earlier was to primarily utilize it for prosperity. but you are extending the usage of it.
Prosperity of that house.
Right. Oh yeah, exactly. There you go.
See, we should prostrate before our saints
Yes.
who has given these bindus or these ways for Hindu Lagna.
Hmm.
That sun is 30, moon is 16. Ah, it's beyond imagination. How they arrived at it.
Yes. Yes.
Prayers
Yeah.
or salutation is not sufficient for them.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a topic of discussion in its own right.
Yes.
How do you get that drishti, right? How do you reach
Yeah,
that meditative state where you
we
can
are
see things?
making use of that.
Yeah.
Drishti.
Absolutely. Very nice. How about the Kal Hora, Goelji? There is another
Hmm.
topic.
That is also very well known.
Ji, ji.
Very well known. For at least Mahurat, that in a day you want to do some government job and it is not a Sunday. So do in the Kal Hora of sun. Okay. Then I have found, I have given two chapters in this. One is Dasha at birth, and the second is Kal Hora. These are two very important things to decide a horoscope. Why you are born in a particular dasha? That is why moon was in that position when you are born. And where is Mahadasha Lord is sitting? That is the main focus. The second focus is the Kal Hora. When Parashari calculates the Shadbal, Kal Hora in iron bal gets the maximum point of 60. Now you link. Dasha is your time frame.
Hmm.
Kalhora, iron, is your time frame. See, you are born with a horoscope that has all the promises. What promises will materialize in this life depends upon your dasha at birth. That is the starting point. That is the unfolding of your
Yes.
events and your Kalhora. He is the strongest of the time, Kal. But Kalhora decision, how which is Kalhora Lord, takes little time. Dasha is easy to find. But without this, I normally see Dasha only. I also neglect Kalhora many times.
Ji,
But
ji.
Kalhora in its Dasha gives wonderful effects.
Interesting.
So, Saraji, all these topics, as I said earlier, are the topics which are special rules.
Hmm. Yeah. I just feel that the way you are explaining, Goelji, we should call this not just the Saral Jyotish, but Saral and Practical Jyotish, right? I mean, all
Yeah,
of these
it's
concepts
very
are,
simple.
how you can apply them to your real life. And
Yeah, yeah. That is why I said it is for Jigyashu who wants to learn. It is not for who is not curious,
yes,
or it is not for the next stage who is Jnani already, who knows everything. It is not for them.
very interesting, very interesting. Um,
Yeah,
so obviously, I think in this book you have covered 14 different topics, which are
yeah.
of obviously great interest. I know this is, you already said that this is the first in a series of books. So you
Hmm.
are planning more, books,
Yeah,
more parts of this book. Are you in
yeah.
a position to talk a little bit more about, what your plans are? How many books in this series?
See, I am reconsidering, but I have selected
Ji,
at least 20 more topics.
okay.
The prominent is retrogression,
Oh, interesting. Very nice. Okay.
debilitation of the planet.
Yeah.
But when I started writing them, the retrogression, I have already written about 60 pages.
Okay.
And for debilitation, I have written about 90 pages already.
So that's a book in itself. 60
Yeah.
topics.
So what I am trying that I will not give these two topics together.
Okay.
It will be a big volume.
Yes.
So next I am planning one of this topic and other topics like Vipreet Raj Yoga.
Hmm.
It's a wonderful concept. So many other topics.
Yeah.
I said I have about 20. I don't remember all of them now,
Sure.
but I'm planning. I'm planning that. And
Awesome.
simple day-to-day topics.
Very nice. Very nice.
Like I said, retrogression. Everybody is confused. Like debilitation. Everybody is afraid of that. And I will prove that out of 100 debilitated planets in the horoscopes, nobody except 3 or 4%, they have not harmed you at all.
Hmm.
So in my first book of divisional charts, I have written a big sentence. Never be afraid of debilitated planets. Never be
Very,
afraid of that.
very true.
They
Yeah,
will
I think it.
rather, without debilitated planet, you cannot be successful in this life, in this Kali Yuga.
We have seen so many examples of that in the charts of the
Yes.
successful people. So
Mhm.
absolutely, absolutely.
So, no, I enjoy writing this.
Yeah, this is very enlightening. Well, I'm really enjoying this discussion. I'll pivot back a little bit to the very start of this discussion. We started talking about contradictions. We started talking about how Saral Jyotish is primarily a book to resolve those contradictions. Explain it to the seekers how you manage those contradictions as they are there in the scriptures or in the shastras. There is a little bit of a chatter in the chat box about how do you resolve contradictions or different indications in a chart, right? I mean, and I know you have talked about it in past, but it's a
Yeah.
topic which always comes up. It is a topic which is very important for predictions. and we just keep kind of in my mind it's a lifetime journey, and probably many lifetime journeys, right? But the question about what do you do when you get different indications in the chart, and I'll just actually read out a question here, right? Pranshuji in the chat is writing that for a Gemini Lagna, the seventh lord is Jupiter. It's a Panch Mahapurush Yoga. If it is there in the seventh house, it is also a Badhak. It is a Marak. I have not checked all of it, so I'm just reading it right now. It is also Kendradipati. But the general point is that you have contradictory indications coming, and again, not going into this specific example, but when you have a chart and you are kind of trying to figure out how to predict something,
No, no, they
how do you
are
handle it?
no, they are not contradictory.
Okay.
Let me tell you. Kendradipati, dosh or yog, that you have to decide, right?
Yep.
Then Jupiter, planet of wisdom, godly planet, comes to your sex life.
Hmm.
What it will do?
Yep.
Okay. So these are not contradictory. You must read what Jupiter do in seventh house. He has written Jupiter is the wisdom, is the dharma, is the lord of dharma trikon. He is the lord of moksha trikon. See the Jupiter sign where it falls. Parashi is very clearly written.
Right.
Now, the lord of a dharam trikon and a moksha trikon comes to kama trikon.
Right.
Analyze it.
So yeah, I would apologize for using the word contradictory. I don't think that was meant by the
No,
by
no.
the questionnaire.
They are, no,
Uh,
no, no. Everybody thinks.
um, right. But I think
Everybody
the yeah,
says it is contradictory.
right. I don't think that's the point that Pranshuji was making.
It
But
is
I
not.
yeah, it is there are different pushes and pulls, and you feel that you are being pulled into different directions. How do you reconcile them?
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
See, my simple Jyotish, anybody who is, if they are my old student listening to it, I always say planets will behave as you will behave when put in the same circumstances.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah.
So you have to decide who is he. I just now explained who is Jupiter,
Hmm.
right? What role he has been given? He is the Guru. He is the Lord of Dharma Trikon. He is the Lord of Moksha Trikon.
Yes.
Now you put him in which trine you are putting him. So what he will do? Jupiter in seventh in Gemini and aspected by any malefic planet or the planet of Kama Trikon, that person will be beaten for his sexual adventures.
Hmm.
You get it? This is the meaning.
Interesting. Very interesting. Good. Good. Um, I'll bring one more question from the chat box, Goelji, if that's
Yes,
okay.
please,
I know
please.
you said, you talked about Vargas and you said that you are, not writing any more books on Vargas for now, but it is a question on Vargas. So
Yes.
the question is that, you have said probably in your past talks that Saturn in the seventh house for any divisional chart ensures.
No, no, sorry. Not in any divisional chart. I have
Okay,
only mentioned it in D9.
okay, okay. So it ensures the respect from the signification of that divisional chart is how the question is written.
No, I
Okay.
have
So it's
said
primarily for D9. Okay.
yes, that the person will receive respect from in-laws, from
Gotcha.
in-laws' house.
Okay. Is there any like a spiritual reason behind it, or the
There is no spiritual
where is it
reason.
coming from? Mhm.
Nothing. Saturn, we refer to the Kalpurush Kundali, Kalpurush chart. Saturn gets exalted in seventh house, in Kalpurush.
Correct. Okay.
So Saturn
So
in
that.
seventh house is exalted.
Mhm.
You get respect from the opponent. So
I,
I referred it in D9 that you get respect from your in-laws.
I see.
In D10, like he mentioned, in any divisional chart. Now here we have to decide from where you are getting the respect.
Hmm.
Say in profession, it is seventh house is your opponents of karmas. The
Correct.
Shakti of your karmas, those who are inspiring you, like your wife in D9, they will appreciate you. Those who are associated with you in profession, like your business partner, not from others. Seventh house is your partners. That is what I say. We take the meanings to a very big extent. Like he has asked, in any divisional chart, you have to classify what it is in that divisional chart. Okay, sir?
Very nice. Yeah. That's very nice. So, Goelji, we are just 20 minutes left in the discussion. Really, I know some people may have to leave, but
Now, if there are no points, we can
no.
we
I,
can
I I did want to ask you a couple of more questions.
yeah,
Before
please.
we close this, but more generically, I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about some tips or guidance to the readers who are reading this book. How should we be using this book? I know you already talked about that, this to clear your doubts. Again, I'll go back to my original question that uh, would you ask them to first read some of your books, or first read some introductory book on Jyotish and then come and read this book? And then is this like a more like a, we should keep it as a reference book with us? I
No,
mean, how would
no.
you
I said, I said, anybody who has read even four first chapters of Parashar, Breath Parashar or Shastra, or any book, should refer to this book also. And the best way is to first understand the book. See, when we read a book, we only take the part relevant to us and forget the rest. But what the directions of the classic is, we should understand it fully.
Hmm.
Without understanding this, we will apply it in a bad way, and then we will get frustrated, right? Like, I'm just giving a small example. People say if the fifth lord is debilitated, there will be problem with childbirth or the son or anything. No, it is only half you are reading it. Parasharji has said if fifth house has a malefic and fifth lord is debilitated, then you get child after great effort.
Yes.
So you have to apply it fully, not in part. What they will say, fifth house has a malefic. Yeah, this is a bloody problem.
Hmm.
Or somebody who has got fifth lord debilitated, that this is a problem. I will not have a child. But he has not written that.
Hmm.
He has said both these conditions should be met. And after some time, he finds, yeah, I am happily married. I have got two children, very good children. So this Jyotish is bad.
How did that happen?
Ah, I was reading Jyotish, so now I will not read it. It's all bunk up. See, what I am planning in this, I will write what the classics have said and what is the real meaning. I am not disagreeing with classics, they are right, but you have to apply it properly,
Yes.
right? So that is
Yes.
the gist. And my endeavor, my effort is to clear these doubts that classics are not bad. They are the ocean of knowledge, but I must understand it.
Interesting.
So
Yep.
this is the thing what I'm trying to do.
Very nice. Very nice, Gaji. Well, I have one more question coming in from a YouTube viewer, and I
Mhm.
apologize in advance if you feel that this question is too you know something
No,
that
no,
has been
no.
asked many times.
No, I learn from this.
Gee,
I
I mean, this
learn
this
from
this
this.
may be something that we have talked about in past, so that's why I feel. But the question is that when you are looking at a chart, is there a sequence in which you look at obviously you will start with the Rashi chart, but is there a sequence then you go to the divisional charts? I mean, do you first pick up D9, then D12, then
No,
I
no.
mean,
I just do not know that my eyes goes to the fault or to the yoga immediately.
mhm,
I don't follow anything.
yes, yes,
When I open a chart, something attracts me
G,
immediately.
G.
And
Yeah,
I
no,
think that
I
has come. There is no
yes,
sequence I follow.
okay. Having said that, Golji, I think you are sort of indicating this ability the intuitive ability to figure out,
No, no,
or
no.
it
It
comes to
is
you
not
somehow.
intuition. It is not
Okay.
intuition.
Okay.
Like anybody in a government service, an officer, if a letter
Ji.
is put up to him, his eyes will go only to the corrections.
You're reminding me of my father. He was famous
Yeah.
for that, and people used to kind of hate him for that. That in a long letter of maybe about
Without
800.
reading,
Yeah, yeah. He
without
will he will pick up
reading,
the spelling mistake right there.
immediately. So I don't know how it comes.
Yeah.
Suppose, see, normally people, when they refer the horoscope, I don't do consultancy, first of
G.
all.
G. We know that. Yeah.
But my friends or those who can pressure me, okay. So when I look at their chart, they have a specific thing to ask
Hmm.
normally.
Yes.
And I go immediately to that and will answer.
Hmm.
I will,
So,
yeah.
no, no, go ahead, please.
See, Navamsha, I must refer.
Okay.
Without Navamsha, I do not open my mouth.
All right.
That is my first thing. Next is I check the dasha running.
Okay.
Okay. From the dasha, then antardasha.
Okay.
Mahadasha and antardasha. For long-term answer, I check only these two. For immediate this thing, I check Pratantardasha and then the transit of Pratantardasha. For immediate questions. For long-term questions, I don't see the transit at all.
Ah. Okay.
I just don't see transit. I see only Dasha. And that too, basically in D1, the birth chart, and Navamsha.
Okay.
Only
Okay.
these two charts. Whether you are asking for promotion or anything, at third level I go for Dashamsha,
Okay.
otherwise it is okay with me.
Okay. So when you say third level for the Shamsha, that was for profession. But if people come,
Professionally,
yeah. So if people come with specific questions, I mean, in general, you will say, look at the Rashi chart, look at Navamsha, and then
Navamsha,
go
that's
and
all.
then go to the relevant Varga chart as a
Correct.
third thing, if you want
Dasha
to.
is very important.
Okay. Dasha
And
is.
you will get the feel of the horoscope. I don't know how to describe
Yeah.
it,
No, yeah, yeah, yeah.
but you get the feeling. You smell the horoscope immediately.
G, G. I think that comes with experience, right? I mean, you have to cultivate that. It's not, it's not
That
something
is, I think, I don't know. Many times, I think there are three, four people. They were writing mail, message every day.
G.
I said, I will not check your horoscope.
Mm-hmm.
One reply. Because I could find that this is not a genuine person.
Mm, mm,
So this comes to me instantaneously.
Yes. Yes.
If I open any horoscope, I said, he is not worth.
Hmm. Hmm.
He is not worth reading the horoscope.
Yes. Yeah. And I see. I understand exactly what you're saying. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
So,
So I
Goelji, I don't want.
simply refuse. Yes.
Yeah. I don't want to start a completely new topic, but since you mentioned that dasha is very important, and you have talked about in past about yogini dasha, uh, do
Hmm.
you primarily? I mean, do you always combine the two? Do you first look at Vimshottari, then go to yogini? I mean, how
No.
what is the
No.
advice?
My sequence is first Chardasha,
Okay.
then my Yogini Dasha, and then confirm from Vimshottari or from any special Dasha
Hmm.
applicable to that horoscope. Then I forget Vimshottari and take that special Dasha applicable to that horoscope. See, Parasharji has given 48 or something dashas. Why? This is also special medicine. I have been talking about general rules and special rules.
Hmm.
So these special dashas give wonderful results. Okay. So I do this way. And it is done within 1 or 2 minutes. You don't have to take very long time.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Guruji, there are some more questions coming in which are, I think,
Yeah.
important, but they're sort of specific. I don't know how you. Maybe I can send them to you in an email later,
No,
and
no, no. Please. I
you
will
want to
do
talk
that.
about it? Okay, okay. So there is a question on, why are any planet in the Kumbh Navamsha or in the Vrishchik Navamsha considered bad? What if Navamsha ascendant is any of these two, Aquarius or Scorpio?
Why? Why?
Yeah.
It should not be.
Okay. Yeah, I think a lot of these things go back to what you said, right? We read one sutra, we read one
Yes.
statement in Shastra, and then we run with it, right? We don't try to
You have
combine
to
it.
combine.
Yeah, yeah,
See,
absolutely.
what he is asking, let me tell you one sutra. If the Lagna is Scorpio and Navamsha is Aquarius, or vice versa, the person will like to eat non-veg. He
Hmm,
will really like it.
interesting. Very interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we have about 5 minutes left.
No, no,
Um,
no. Don't be troubled about the time.
oh, okay,
If
okay.
there
That's
are relevant things, we do it.
Okay. So yeah, I mean there are obviously a lot of questions. You can imagine that when people get a chance to hear from you, we don't want to stop, right? So there is a question about how do you analyze dasha sandhis?
Let me ask a counter question.
Ji,
How you analyze Dasha?
that's a good one. So I mean, if I would have to answer, I would say, when I look at dasha, I look at the dasha lord, maybe the antardasha lord, where they are located, what houses do they own, what are their, I mean, who is the who is the dasha lord? Ji,
Saurabhji, I am conveying the same thing.
ji,
As you examine the Dasha,
ji.
you examine the Dasha Sandhi also.
Okay. So
That's
just
all.
just to just so what? So you will look at both the currently running dasha and the
Not
upcoming
the,
dasha.
it is not something special.
Hmm.
You should know how to analyze dasha,
Right.
right?
Okay.
Any more?
I'm going through the chat right now. So there are a lot of questions actually, but this is getting a little bit more specific, and I'm a little jittery
No
for
personal
getting.
charts.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, no, these are not personal, but they are very specific. So if Ketu is in the eighth house, does that mean a person will have a short life? Uh,
See, this is all person, these personal
yeah,
questions.
yeah. That's
And
that's what
one
I was.
planet cannot decide everything.
Yes.
Ketu in 8th, he will be a great saint.
Hmm.
Maybe he will be ill, disease, chronic disease, so many things.
Yes.
You cannot say one thing about it.
Yeah. 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 No, I agree. I think these are getting a little bit more specific, and
Yes.
these then starts getting into the individual charts. So let's not do that. Um, there is a question on the Dasha Pravesh. Vinita ji, I would request you to check some of the videos that are available on jyotish.com on demand. A
Right.
lot of these questions that people are asking, we do have on demand videos available on jyotish.com, and these have been discussed, in great length. I think Dasha Pravesh is more relevant for the Varshfal chart analysis. So you will see a whole course on Varshfal that is available on jyotish.com. It has been taught by Dr. Charak. There are some other questions about, how do we integrate these rules. Goelji has taught a few of the Varga charts. Goelji, I would hope that we will come back to it and finish that series at some point, so that we have a comprehensive Varga course available on Jyotish.com. But we do have 4 or 5 Varga charts that Goelji taught earlier in the year, and we did a lot of analysis. We looked at different charts. We looked at example charts. We looked at charts of people who were attending those courses, and you will find a wealth of information there in terms of how do we integrate. I mean, it's just amazing when you look at those charts and how Goelji starts talking about, hey, did you miss this, or did you notice that, and how do you integrate this with that. So I would really encourage and invite all of you to look through the on demand videos available on jyotish.com, and see whether those help you guys in answering some of these questions, because otherwise we'll just be repeating it here, and I think that would be a waste of time for Goelji. I don't want to do that. um so there is one more question which looks not too specific, so I would put it here for you, Goalji. What is the logic behind assigning a certain time period to a planet's dasha, such as Mars is 7, Venus is 20?
No,
I think it
no.
goes back to,
That we have not been able to
yes,
analyze this
yeah,
saintly. Like I said, Hindu Lagna, why 32 Sun, 16 to Moon.
mhm,
This is all divine. There
yes,
have been, maybe, I think I have read so many articles explaining 20 years to Venus and 6 years to Sun, but no answer.
yeah. I think it
No
probably goes
answer.
back to the thing that we talked about earlier, that the rishis had the drishti. They were in a meditative state, right? And
Okay,
they,
okay. I ask why the first sign is called Mesh
yeah.
or Aries, and the symbol is a ram.
Hmm.
Why? Any answer? We all accept it
Yes. Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely.
because you have to accept some things to start experimenting afterwards.
Yeah, you have to have
This is
axioms
all
before
divine.
you, yeah, before you start
This is all
developing
divine.
theories. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, this is all
All right,
divine.
that's awesome. Thank you. Let me just quickly check the YouTube if there are any questions there. There are not. So this is great. Goel, I do want to respect your
Yeah.
time. I know,
No,
you
no,
said
no,
that.
no problem.
So
I
do
sleep
you have any
early, that's all.
do you have any parting comments for the students, for people who are learning, either through other means or through Jyotish? Any parting comments? How what you would?
Only thing is, if you enjoy learning it, learn it.
Yes.
Otherwise, leave it and enjoy your life.
Very rightly said. Very rightly said. Thank you, Goelji.
Yeah.
So, thanks a lot for doing this today with us. We hope to bring you back for many more discussions. And all the participants, thanks a lot for joining. Let's just do a quick closing mantra, and then we'll close the session. So, please close your eyes. Bring your hands to your Anahat Chakra. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः
Shanti, Shanti.
हरि ओम ओम तत्सत all right, thanks a lot everyone.
Thank you,
uh,
sir.
if you guys want to
Thank
unmute
you,
yourself
everybody.
and please do. And
Good to
Thank you,
talk.
girls. It was wonderful.
thank you. Thanks
Excellent
guys.
session, sir.
Thank you, sir.
ठीक है जी. Okay.
Thank you.
Pranam,
धन्यवाद.
sir.
धन्यवाद गोजी. And
Thank
thanks a lot
Thank
everyone
you,
for being
sir.
very disciplined. Yeah,
you, sir.
we ran this session with minimal interruptions, so I really appreciate and thank all of you for being patient and disciplined and listening to Goelji with all your attention. So thank you. Thanks a lot. Bye
One
everyone.
more thing. Can I
जी
take one more minute?
जी बिल्कुल 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 गोयल.
On 22nd,
जी
I am having a webinar
awesome.
for US audience
Okay,
on a different channel. Okay.
so I'll get that link from you Goelji and I'll send it to everybody if that is okay.
No, that is the website. They have first freshly
Yeah,
approached me. That
sure,
is
sure.
Cosmic Insights.
Cosmic insights. Okay, okay, definitely. We'll
Yeah.
dig it out and I'll make sure that everybody has that link so that people can join.
Okay. 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 Thank you.
Okay, but you guys
Thank
heard
you.
it's cosmic insights. Please do dig it yourself. But we will try and
No,
anybody who is
I'm telling this without their permission because I'm close to you.
thanks a lot. I really appreciate this. We will be
Yeah.
there for sure to listen to your
Yeah.
words. Yeah.
Without their permission, I have told you this.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Okay.
Thank you
Bye.
guys.
Thank
धन्यवाद
you.